We're off to a good start, but we need to filbert in these blanks. This week on Hapless Heroes.
Yeah, he's really nice and he has a really cool voice. He goes, I'm really good, your friend, and you are nice and I do good things that are bad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. I'm Francesco, and I am your host and DM as we jump right back into the action of our adventure in time. Before we get started, we're going to do what we always do, and that's going to introduce our wonderful cast for you, starting in my virtual left with Dave as Zero, Valen's Avatar of War.
Good evening, everyone.
Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
Returned and refreshed.
Nicole as Boris the Butcher.
I'm running out of end of the world outfits.
Zach as Pregnart.
Maybe my hamster will start good this time.
And John as Lord Gerald the Light.
Pancakes and ham and bacon and eggs and muffins and...
In true Hapless Heroes fashion, Phil, aka Hedrick the Entertainer, is not able to join us tonight. However, Quinn had his pampering time, and I think Hedrick feels like, he needs to follow suit. He can't be less amazing and beautiful than Quinn. We've it's sort of always been this battle of the bards happening in this show.
He's always been less beautiful. It's just he's trying to match wits, and it's all good.
You're gonna talk shit without the man present, man.
I'm sure he has a horrible mess to deal with in the bathroom too.
Yeah, so Hedrick, as I say, Hedrick is probably spending his time right now just like undoing the Quinness of the pampering stations and is now going through whatever his self-care routine is, which I'm sure he'll explain when he returns. But until then, you guys are at the Villag Inn right now. We'll just say that Hedrick essentially took off and is heading back to the Garden Inn, which is, where your actual nice lodgings are. You do not, you guys, I think, had spent the night at the Villag Inn specifically because you had intended to invent brunch, and you had to invent brunch here at the Villag Inn. So, I think we left off with you had just invented brunch. We had cut the camera to something that the party did not see, was the hotel the employees at the Garden Inn asking where Nate, one of the bellboys, was. They didn't show up after their shift after they ran out on an errand for one of the people staying at the hotel. That was you. Because Pregnart did manage to convince him to, against Boris's wishes, financially motivated wishes, to go find a hamster riding a tiny unicycle with a little hat.
I convinced him with sausage.
I wasn't the sausage. So that's where we left off. So we're brunch has concluded. It was it's going to take some time probably for this to take off, but it was a success in its own right in that it was the first of its kind, the first Thursday brunch that ever happened in Telduria. So that's where we left off. I think what the only thing outstanding right now is that you've told Filbert now tonight to meet you late. We're at your lodgings at the Garden Inn to
Well, we've done one of the things we were supposed to do today. Of course, meeting Filbert later in the day is very important. But I think top on Jarrell's priority list is the hamster system again. And I'm sure it's on Pregnart's as well.
Well, I mean,
For different reasons.
I mean, yes, but here's the thing. You have no idea where this hamster is. right? It was brought to you last time.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, you have zero information as to where you could find said demon hamster. But I mean, you know, that it could be a way to tackle the day. But you know, let's settle this in character. You know, you've just finished a delicious meal. What's next on the docket for the hapless heroes?
Money did I make in cards last night? Also, before we get moving,
Wasn't it dice? Weren't you playing dice? And
how much money did I
Oh
Definitely.
yeah,
really win from people last night?
definitely, legitimately won from people. Like
My
definitely
knowledge of
without.
how the dice rolled last time.
You managed to come away with about 68 gold. You were up, you were down, but you ended up still coming out on top at the end.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, but what's on the docket for the hapless heroes on this this Holy Thursday?
Jarrell pushes one of the last of the plates away from in front of his face. I am still concerned about that hamster creature. I don't want it interfering with the convergence later. If its primary goal was to jump into the well, it could, in fact, really be trying to influence anyone in the town to be doing just that.
Yeah, that's dangerous that he's not here with me cuddling. We should go find him.
Should
I
we go
agree
get
with
Quinn?
Jarrell.
Should we go get Quinn first?
Oh yeah, Quinn's not with you guys. He's at the
Yes.
He's back at the.
Yes,
garden inn.
Quinn should cuddle with the hamster too. He will like it.
Mm.
All right. I mean, any objections to that?
No, Boris,
Cuddling with a hamster? No, thank you.
No, the going back for Quinn.
Quinn's not here. Quinn can't hear this conversation.
Yeah.
Boris is gonna stop pocketing muffins and go ask the hotel clerk, reception, whoever's at like the front desk area at this inn to get a carriage for us using the gold that she earned last night, so that we don't have to, foot it.
Walk. Oh yeah. Okay, that sounds great. So while that's happening, and while you're traveling to the garden inn, I'm going to cut the camera to Quinn. Quinn.
Yes.
It's the morning. Your friends have invented Thursday brunch without you. However, you had one of the first, this is probably the first time in the longest time that you had an entire night of me time. So you're waking up refreshed, relaxed, is there anything any sort of ritual you perform in the morning, as you're rising after the spa day you gave yourself yesterday?
Is this an R-rated episode?
Right.
No.
No, the
Ritualizing
pre-ritualizing has already happened.
Yeah, I feel like y'all can use your imaginations about what he was doing behind closed doors. And then I think he is he's certainly sheening himself. He's making sure that his complexion is perfect.
Polished.
He's using whatever mirrors or what have you to kind of cream himself and
Yes,
Yeah.
we felt that was
Yes.
lotion on his face.
I don't feel
He's
like we're
wi-
clarifying yet. Hold on.
Yeah.
I think
he is
cream
well
yourself can mean only one thing.
applying cream and lotion
Cream
to
to
your
his
skin
face.
to hydrate.
Right.
And
It's an
My
impressive
self-care
idea.
He
routine
is-
always includes creaming myself.
He is he is feeling the most hydrated he has ever felt in probably years at this point.
he's well polished.
He is well polished.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I still don't feel like that clarified anything.
If any of you
I don't
felt
think
like
it's
this was not
supposed
going to be rated, you were mistaken.
so there's a knock at your suite door.
Hark, there's a knock at my door.
There sure is. You can narrate all of your own actions if you would like to.
Quinn saunters, if you will, over to the door.
course.
Almost sing-songily. So he's kind of like
He's got a little bounce in his step. Yeah,
there's a little bit of a bounce. There's a little bit of a hum in his brain. Maybe Hedrick's got to him a little bit with some of his little dandies, and so he is humming to himself, strolling across the room, and he opens the door.
Okay. You see a woman, maybe in her early 40s, wearing like the uniform that everybody else working at this Garden Inn is wearing, and she just says, "Oh, excuse me, sir. I don't mean to interrupt your morning, but I was wondering if you had heard from a certain hotel employee. He goes by the name of Nate. He was last seen trying to fulfill a request for one of the people staying with you. He didn't report for his shift this morning."
He responds with, "And who are you?" And the reason why he says that is because he actually has cucumbers over his eyes still. He can't actually see her. He doesn't know who this is. So he doesn't even see the uniform at all.
Oh.
So he's just kind of confused about who's talking and why.
She opens this door to a person with like literally cucumbers in their eyes. Perfect. Okay.
Yep.
So she says, "Oh, I'm Martha. I'm one of the employees here at the hotel. I'm the shift manager."
Oh, and he takes one of the cucumbers off his left eye and eats it.
So have you heard from this employee? Have you seen them at all?
What did you say his name was?
Nate.
Nope, doesn't ring a bell. I mean, there's been all sorts of people in and out of my room bringing me all sorts of wonderful creams and knickknacks and cucumbers.
Well, we're certainly happy that you're enjoying your stay and that you feel that you are being well taken care of. But we are a bit concerned about this employee. We sent someone to their home and, no one seemed to be there. By any chance, would you happen to know what errand he was sent, like what the last thing, I guess, was asked of him was? We don't really have that on file.
I am unsure, but if you find this Nate, please send him some more fresh towels.
Right away, sir.
We can never have enough fresh towels.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. You have been amazing. And he closes the door.
Yeah, and she leaves. So at this point now, we're going to cut the camera back to the rest of the group. You are now just arriving at the Garden Inn. And you see a mildly distraught 40-year-old woman, hotel employee, coming down the stairs back into the main atrium. And she sees all of you, walk in, and she just says, "Oh, hello, excuse me. You're the group staying in the penthouse suite, is that correct?"
It is.
Out of curiosity, have you heard from one of our employees? He goes by the name of Nate. It seems like you had requested something of him last night, and he hasn't reported for his shift this morning, and we're just a bit concerned for him.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yep.
No, good. Okay. Boris's mouth is full of muffin, and she says, "If he went to find a hamster, it's his own fault."
I'm sorry? Did you say something about a hamster?
Boris swallows the muffin and says, "Yeah, I paid him not to find the hamster. If he went and found the hamster, he is possibly trying to throw him down a well." I don't really remember what the end goal of the hamster was.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you saying that there's a safety concern here? What is so dangerous about this hamster?
It's a demon.
He's too cute.
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that one of our hotel employees willingly went out in search of a demon for one of our guests?
Yeah, he's riding a bike. It's a whole thing. I tried to
Unicycle.
In your employee's defense, I'm not sure he's aware that the hamster is a demon.
Yeah, the hamster is just very cute and he has a good voice. He goes, about a bit. Hey, you should do the really cool stuff for me.
Okay. Listen. I'm not sure if this is just a joke to you, but one of our employees is missing, and the last people that they had talked to were you. And now I don't want to sound accusatory. Obviously, you are our guests, and you may, we will do our best to fulfill whatever requests you desire, but we really need to know, like, what is it that you had sent him out for?
Hamster.
If he were looking for a hamster, where do you think he would go first?
I mean, there's so many open-air markets, and there's, like, I guess pet stores and things like that, but, I mean, a hamster... I
A
don't
really
know.
cute one that
there's
has
men-
a little
there's-
hat.
I guess there are several pet stores near. I should state that we do have a strict no pet policy at this hotel. Just cleanliness and general rules.
That is very odd considering that I gave you a very nice sausage. I think an exception is not out of the question.
Zero is also on the words no pet policy, just silently from the back, looking at Pregnart, looking back at Martha. Look at Pregnart, look back at Martha.
Pregnant has blank stare.
Of course, as always.
This is also going on at least 5 feet above your head.
Boris
says, "Well-"
puts. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Boris puts her arm on the shoulder of the woman in a comforting fashion and says, "Don't worry. I can solemnly swear that by 4 a.m. you will no longer be looking for him and not worrying about it at all."
That doesn't sound comforting at all. Why is that so oddly specific? Why would I no longer be worrying about it at 4 a.m.?
The hamster will be gone at 4 a.m.
Do you know where this employee is? Are you responsible for their disappearance? Have you done something to them?
No, I just told
No,
you. I
no,
paid him to try to not go.
Okay, we're gonna have to file a missing persons report with the authorities. I wouldn't be surprised if they came asking you some questions as well. And I'm sorry, but it's just protocol. We have a missing employee, and they're not at home, and well, we're concerned for their safety.
Boris gives her a
So-
muffin in response.
No, thank you. I'm not hungry. But yeah, I guess don't stray too far, and enjoy your day. And she just kind of like walks away, and you can see her like talking to some people at the front desk, before she then starts to walk out of the hotel.
So I guess we would go get Quinn.
Okay, you go up to the room. Quinn, do you still have a single cucumber in your eye, or have you eaten that one too?
I currently now have pants on.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I guess we
Really?
never established whether your pants were or were not on when you answered
no,
the
sorry.
door.
No, I was in a pure robe, like robe head to toe.
okay, I understand.
had the hair
Okay.
like twirled into a towel on my head.
I see. Okay,
I
okay.
I was in
feel
pure
they
spa
have, like,
mode.
The silk smoking jacket kind of robe.
Yes,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, he currently now has pants on.
Quinn, we're back. I believe we have to go find the hamster and also possibly the bellboy.
Ah, yes. I don't remember his name, but it was some woman was here asking for him. I hope he brings us towels.
You need more towels.
You can
Of
see
course.
that. You can see that
towels everywhere.
behind Quinn, like the door to his private room is open, and you can see there's just piles of towels on the floor.
Hmm.
And you could hear Hedrick kind of cursing in the the bathroom, because he's just like, "Oh no, where are the towels?" Listen, we have this running thing, right, where like some sort of gaffe or something happens to happen to Hedrick. It doesn't always have to be serious, but I feel like there is a certain level of inconvenience that comes along with you're in the bath and you look around and suddenly you're like, "Oh fuck, there's no towels in here."
Hmm. I had a perfect spa day. He is going to have a very stressful spa day.
Yeah, it's gonna.
The exfoliant is empty. The razor's clogged.
Oh, he actually finds out that he's allergic to the exfoliant.
Oh, I won't be that cruel. We'll just stick with the no towels for now.
Wait till he finds out we took all the toilet paper out.
No, we didn't.
And there's no more cucumbers.
That may be true.
That might be true. As it stands, we have a missing employee that you can or cannot do something about. I mean, like, listen, it's up to you. I mean, okay, when you did ask the question, there are pet stores you mentioned that were nearby and like open air markets where maybe people might be selling like exotic pets or things of that nature. You can go do some looking around. I'm sure if you ask the concierge, they can point you in like the direction of a few.
Now, just as an aside, among us heroes here, how much gold have we given this place for their discretion?
I believe I lost track.
So, somewhere along the lines of enough gold to keep this affluent inn running for an entire year with no guests.
Uh-huh.
Martha should have taken the muffin. If she was more interested in biting that and less interested in biting the hand that feeds, she'd probably be living a much easier life by the end of the day.
Well, by the end of this day, nobody's going to be living a healthy life at all, so.
Is it day 3 already?
She did say it was protocol.
Within 24 hours. It's 4 a.m, correct? This upcoming morning.
This coming morning. Listen, we like the actions of day 1 consisted of kidnapping Filbert.
The actions of day 2 thus far have created brunch, walked back to hotel.
Nope, rode back to hotel.
Rode back
on a
to
carriage.
hotel. Yeah.
So we're still in day 2. Okay, that's... Oh my gosh.
I mean, you guys barely got to day 3 last time because the fish was eaten before anything really happened. You were asked to surrender your weapons, and that was the last straw for Zero, apparently.
Yeah.
Yes,
Over the edge.
us without our weapons is an untenable position.
Right.
They didn't ask us to surrender the fish. I think, keep in mind this time that, like, as long as we don't have to surrender the fish, we should be comfortable.
Well, there should be
more
significantly
varying
less
circumstances.
guards. Yeah, there should be significantly less guards this time.
It's
Yeah,
possible
there's-
that we've finessed this one slightly better than the time before.
There is no hashtag Bush Journal this time, so...
Yet.
Yeah, it is still early. All right.
Are we
Well.
discussing the surrendering of the weapons in character, or is this just an us discussion?
I was just reminding you that's what happened.
Then I
Right.
have a follow-up question. If Boris were to surrender her weapon, would it just poof back into her hand?
You would have to recall it, but yeah, you probably could do
I
that.
could just do that, right?
Yep.
So I'm fine if I have to surrender my dagger. Cool. Good to know.
But I mean, you would be surrendering your dagger to like the magic authorities. So like keep that in perspective as well.
Right. Because you recalling your weapon requires magic, right?
The weapon
It is
itself is
the weapon
magic.
itself is enchanted to like do
Right.
that. But I'm just saying, like,
Right.
someone savvy enough would probably suss out that there's something magical about the properties of your weapon.
Yeah, it is also
Maybe-
attuned to me, and it looks like it's made of glass, if I remember from how I described it. So
Yes.
it looks pretty magic.
So, we're all together again. What's the next angle of attack? Are we going to pet stores?
Yeah, I guess pet stores and the open air markets. Do we know how far apart they are?
You'd have to ask somebody,
Yeah.
or just go look at a map of like maybe some of the market districts. I'm sure there's probably some like maps and things you can peruse in the lobby of the local areas, places to explore,
Yeah, we didn't have a map this time.
places to shop.
Yeah, I think finding a map would be of the local shops and where the open air markets are would be useful.
Okay. Well, you could do that. Just tell me what you want to do.
I guess ask the front desk. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they say like, is there any particular type of pet shop you're looking for, or is there like a
Particularly which one you believe Nate may have started at or headed around.
looking for a hamster, was it, right?
Yes.
I overheard you say? Okay.
One that would ride a unicycle, wear a fez, and whistle a little tune.
That is so oddly specific.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, if you take a look here, they pull out like a map of what looks like the inner wards and like of like the citadel and like of Uul, right? Of just like the outer wards. There's plenty of things there, but that's if you're looking for exotic pets, those aren't really where you're going to be finding it. You're going to be looking for the ninth ward itself has its shopping centers, like plazas, where there might be some pet stores you can peruse. There's like one or two here in the ninth ward, as well as adjacent there are a couple in the 10th and 8th wards as well. They give you like 6 different potential places you can go. There's essentially roughly two relevant ones in each ward adjacent to you and in where you are right now in the city.
Could you think of one that would be selling more exotic or perhaps even less legal pets, including hamsters?
Far be it for me to question your tastes.
Illegal
let me just-
hamsters.
Okay, well there's 2. Okay, and we have that would be Scales Exotic Pets here in the 9th ward. And then probably Alley Cat's Pet Shop in the 8th ward. Don't let the name fool you. It's not just cats. They just happen to be in an alley, and well, that might be, you asked for shady. That's about all I could come up with. The rest would just be your typical, pet shops ranging with, from typical domestic pets to things more exotic, depending on, requests.
For my out of character notes, what was the name of the second one again?
So the first one, right, was Scales Exotic Pets,
Yep.
and then the other one was Alley Cat's Pet Shop.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Please, if anything you can do to make sure that Nate is safe, we would appreciate it.
So I guess we'd want. How long does it take to walk between the wards?
It's a large city. This is
Yeah.
a massive metropolitan area. I mean, it would take you less time to do that than it would be to walk around like the outer wards where the circumference is a little bit, larger. However, probably taking a carriage or like a wagon or like, some sort of public transportation would be your best bet.
Right. Because I was thinking we could go, maybe get a wagon. Perhaps we get a wagon to this Alley Cat's in the 8th ward and then ride it through the other 2, and I could just try to locate a little tiny unicycle. Do you think that might be the most expedient way to find if this thing is even in either of these pet shops or markets?
Only if Nate found all of the above at once and didn't go on multiple trips, like get the hamster, then get the unicycle, then get the fez.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way to think about it, right? Because you have no idea, the steps that were taken prior to procure this hamster.
It does seem like it was able to ride the unicycle very well to begin with. I don't know if that was just the demon's natural talent or if the hamster had trained through.
Can I also just, as an aside, say that like the things that we choose to focus on, or that we like these little extra storylines that we've created throughout the course of these loops have been like some of my favorite things, because just like only us would choose to deal with the hamster system or make that even relevant to the overall main story that's culminating here. Yeah, twice. I love it. I
had an out to allow the hamster to not be a story this time, and you.
But how could
right
I? But how could if it existed before? It has always existed. So, like, We've established it, so now it's always a thing.
Damn straight.
It's like the shittiest version of As Above, So Below. I love it so much.
Anyways, any objections to what Jarell is suggesting? Anyone else have any suggestions on how to approach this? Like, where's our first stop? Where are we going next?
Well, apparently we're taking a wagon to Scales.
The alley cat first in the 8th ward, then going
Oh,
back
alley
between the
cat,
9th.
right.
'Cause I figured we'd ride the carriage from the 8th to the 9th to the 10th until we spot something.
You're already in the 9th ward. This is where you are. That is where your hotel is.
Yeah, but I figured if we started the 8th, that way we wouldn't have to use one to go to the 8th and then the other one back.
And yeah, just so like
Time
start there and
dating.
then work your way back. I understand. Okay. Any objections? We go with this plan? All right.
Let's do it.
Off to Alley Cat's pet store. Obviously, very easy to procure a wagon down to the 8th ward. It drops you off in like where the main shopping center is, but like you remember from looking on the map that just like in one of the alleyways off from the main strip is where this pet store is. So you're able to kind of, you're making your way down the streets, you know, they're bustling. There appears to be some street performers on like a stage that's been set up in like a little plaza. They're like doing like it looks like a play of some kind, like they're performing. And, you know, so there's quite a crowd gathered around, and, you know, it's like you can't really see what they're doing. You can just hear people like, you know, reciting lines, like just like it's very Shakespearean, like, you know, type stuff. Like just this, it appears to be a comedy though, because people are like laughing. But you know, from back here, the crowd noise is a little intense. So like even though the performers are shouting to try to like carry their voices, it's not, you know, entirely clear like, you know, what's being performed. But, you know, you're kind of pushing your way through or around, you know, just trying to, like, navigate around this, like, crowd that keeps kind of, you know, they're sort of congregating towards the center of this plaza. And you can see that, you know, there's, like, several alleys that shoot off from, you know, where some of the shop fronts are set up. And, like, looking down some of these alleys as you're passing by them, getting to the one where you remember seeing, you know, the Alley Cat's pet shop in. I mean, there's like these alleyways seem to stretch on for quite a way and have a few, you know, several like offshoots from them. There's a lot of buildings here, and they, you know, not a ton of ones that like rise high up. The ground here is a little bit more level, so everything's just sort of like, it just feels like flat. Like all the rooftops sort of like almost like not like connect to each other, but like are around the same height, right? Like you can easily just like jump from rooftop to rooftop if you wanted to. The buildings are so close together. So these alleyways are super tight. So you start walking down, and like you know the alleyway where the Alley Cats is, and you can see there's just like you could like, if it weren't for the small metal sign sticking out from the you know brick facade of the side of the building here, you would have no idea that there was anything here, because it's just a door, like a solid black metal door with like one of those like slots that open and close around like human eye level, and just like an, you know, like that, like an iron sign kind of hanging down, like swinging, like you can see like one chain link is a little bit longer than the other, so the sign's a bit crooked, and it just, you know, it's in the shape of a cat, and it just says Alley Cat's Pet Store.
Do we want to even go in, or should we just locate the unicycle, see if it's here, and move on through the market?
We want to go in. Boris immediately goes through the door.
Jarrell has a bad feeling about going into a skeevy pet shop with our group because we're going to just rescue all the pets.
Boris is already picking out a pet.
Zero also wanders in.
Okay, so Boris and Zero, the door opens, right? It's not locked. It's not like there's no like knock, what's the password type thing, right? Just, you know, but there is a slot in there, right? The door opens. It's quite dark in like this atrium you're in. There's like almost like curtains drawn so that you can't, even opening the door, you can't see directly into the shop. But then you guys just walk in. Does anybody else follow them, or are the three of you kind of like still hesitant?
Jarrell's going in.
Yeah, I'm going in. If Zero's going in, I'm going in.
Okay.
It's definitely going into the vet store.
All right, so as you walk in, like you kind of have to like push through the curtains to like get into where the store is. And as soon as you walk in, I mean, like it is sort of this like dimly lit room. Like the walls are made of like this, like some sort of dark hard wood that is like just like so like the actual and like like any sort of cushions or anything like that might be present on furniture or things in this room. It's like sort of this red velvet. So it's just this very dark and like like moody sort of vibe with the lighting and like the dark wood and the no natural light at all penetrating to this building. There are tons of cages and enclosures of multiple sizes containing, I mean, a huge variety of animals. We're talking about exotic birds, like large, like exotic, like cats or canines, right? That might be in larger enclosures. Like you can see the store stretches out, like super wide, right? So like against like the outer, like the walls to your left and right, like all the way at the ends of this shop, or where some of these larger enclosures are. It's almost like a zoo, right? But like indoors. And like any of the dangerous animals or potentially dangerous animals are behind like like this like tempered glass that's like super, like, it seems to be like super thick. And then like you have like cages, you got monkeys, you got like rodents, you got, I mean, like pretty much any animal you can dream of is in here, like including some of this like some strange creatures you've never seen before in your entire lives. There is a small counter in the center of this like menagerie. And there is just what appears to be a small, like just like a gnome, a male gnome, wearing these glasses that have like all these different like lenses or adjustable lenses where he can like flip more down in front of like the actual bifocals that he has on. And he seems to be just like deep looking at like he's like reading something, or he's like looking through maybe like a ledger or some kind, but he barely pays you any mind as you enter. He almost like kind of does like almost like a half lift of his head to kind of acknowledge your presence, but then like says nothing and just continues reading on. There are no other customers in this store.
Zero walks up to the counter.
Again, as you walk up, it's same. Like there's not really any attention being given to you still. Whatever this gnome is reading through, obviously is capturing their attention more than your presence.
Okay, I will just stand and loom over the counter.
Okay. After a few moments, you could like the gnome kind of lets out like a sort of a heavy sigh. Yes, what can I do for you?
Zero leans down and try to get his head a little closer to this guy in his stature. It's a little close. His eyes both blazing red. Would you believe me if I told you I was here to buy a gift for a friend?
Well, that wouldn't be the first time I've heard someone make some sort of request for a gift. We have many different kinds of animals here, many kinds of exotic creatures. It depends on what this friend of yours is looking for.
My friend is peculiar sort. He could be standing right in front of your face and you'd never know it was him, and even if you knew, you'd never believe it. But he seems to have a thing for small performing creatures. On his mind lately has been a hamster. We'd already sent
hamster?
a purchaser out.
Oh, yeah. I've got a hamster on the mind.
Now, as soon as you speak up, Pregnar, because you were probably like, you weren't like directly with Zero as he was approaching the counter, right? But like he looks over now and sees you, this beautiful, magnificent, strange, and unique creature,
Don't forget the
standing
blank stare.
blankly staring in his direction. And he says, "My goodness, what a specimen you are. Come here, good fellow. Tell me more about yourself. From where do you hail?"
Wait, is he behind a counter?
He's behind a counter. It's
just
like
hop up onto the counter.
it's like a 360-degree counter with like a little like door that flops out, so he's like surrounded by desk.
I just hop up onto the counter.
Wow, and you can see him like lift a few of the lenses to kind of get a more wider focus of like what he's looking at you, and then maybe he like flips ones up and down, like just kind of like examining you. You can see that he like immediately like just like he hops up onto the counter with you, and he's like pinching your cheeks. He's like feeling your hands, like like, oh, glorious. Do tell. From where do you hail? What can I call you?
I'm pregnant. I'm a McGuggle.
Fascinating. And you see
Dr.
him like
Dedu
grab
made me, I guess. I don't know how.
Dr. Dedu, you say? So you would say that you are not a natural creature.
I'm very natural.
Okay.
And I stroke my fake beard.
Yeah, your moss beard. Yeah.
Let me remind the audience that Pregnant at all times wears a fake beard made out of moss. And I go,
This is all natural. I grew my beard. This is a real natural beard. And I take offense that you insinuated anything otherwise.
You see that he pulls out a notebook and a quill. He like dips it in like a little like ink well and starts like furiously scribbling notes, like and he starts like muttering to himself, like, oh, this creature seems to have established some modicum of sentience. We'll have to see what level of intelligence this particular creature possesses. It calls itself a McGuggle. And then he just like returns back and he looks at you and he just very quickly just like plucks and like snatches like a little piece of moss from your beard, right? Like almost like plucking a beard hair.
Hey,
right?
Stop that. What did you do? Why did you do that? That's my beard, and that hurt. Ouch.
I'm sorry, I'm just borrowing this for a second. And he like examines it very closely in his hands, and he just looks at it. He's like, God,
you just ruined my beard. That is not nice. Why are there so many rude people in this town?
I'm sorry. I got. You'll have to. I must remember my manners. I've just never encountered something quite like you before.
That is not
I haven't
cool,
felt
man.
this excited in such a long time.
Well, next time you get excited, don't start just picking pieces of somebody's real beard off. That is not fake and is real.
You see him pull his notebook out again. Creature also seems to understand basic social cues and politeness. And he
just grabs the piece of his beard back and
puts it, just sticks it back on.
Yeah, sticks it on and just hops off the counter. He does not want to talk to this man anymore.
I imagine that
he's tired of this.
I
imagine the piece that slowly falls off again.
yeah, it's like just like hanging down, probably just a little bit. Yeah. But he says, no, please, I meant no offense. I just, if anything, like, you are the most magnificent thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Thank you.
I think he's won Pregnard over a little bit more.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked. You said you were looking for a performing hamster. Is that correct?
Yes, it is a hamster, and he has a little head, and he whistles a little song, and he rides a little unicycle.
A gentleman may have come in here already looking for him.
Yes, actually. I do recall someone dressed in, he looked to be like an employee of some sort of lodging, around town, asking for a hamster of said caliber. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to possess such a magnificent creature as you describe, I do not have any.
Yeah, he's really nice, and he has a really cool voice. He goes, I'm really good, your friend, and you are nice, and I do good things that are bad.
Interesting. So this hamster also can speak.
To
No,
me,
I definitely don't have anything quite like that. But I do remember appointing this young fellow in the direction of, well, I know many people in the exotic animal trade. I didn't get established like this, completely on my own. It's good to know people in certain places. There was a man that I referred him to. He's rather eccentric. However, if there was anyone who could help procure such a magnificent creature, I'd think no other than a man named Volo. And for all the D&D
That sounds familiar.
old heads out there, that's going to sound familiar to you as well.
Okay, where can we find him?
Where can't you find him is the real question. From what I understand, because we met for coffee recently, he's been taking up residence working on a new book here in Ool. He said he was leaving town today, though. So, I'm not sure if he's still there, but he was residing actually at the... I think it was in the 7th Ward somewhere. We met, let's see, we had coffee at Carol's. Oh, yes, right. It was the Flower Inn and Suites right there in the 7th Ward.
Okay,
That's where he was staying. He may have already checked out by now, but, there's a chance he might still be there if you are looking to procure such a creature. He would know where to find one. He knows where to find everything. The man is a genius. Albeit, as I said, a bit eccentric.
Thank you. Should we hurry off then?
Is there anything else I can help you find or procure? Take a look around. Obviously, my stock is unlike anyone you'll ever see.
I'm gonna. Pregnart's gonna look around. What's something that's gonna catch Pregnart's eye?
You tell me. Right? Like, what would catch Pregnart's eye? What
Are there
kind
any
of
frogs
creature?
there?
What kind of creature could you dream up?
Are there any frogs?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like the simplest, the better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a look at the frog tank and give it a real good blank stare.
A real good blank stare, you say?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay. You and the many different types of frogs that are in these different frog, in amphibian enclosures, exchange blank stares for quite some time. You're
just an
you have-
audible blink like Zorak from Space Ghost.
Yeah.
Just standing in front of the frog
Blong,
tank.
blong.
There's something that speaks to me about these creatures, and I can't really put my finger on it.
I see. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand there until somebody tears me away from this tank.
Well,
Okay.
no,
Boris,
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Boris was also standing in front of a tank with a thick glass wall and raises her hand towards the shopkeeper with a gold ingot in it. And in the tank that Boris is standing in front of, provided you're going to allow me to describe this animal right now,
Please.
it looks like a Japanese spider crab. So for those that are unfamiliar, they are giant crabs whose leg spans can span up to 18 feet. Huge
Oh my god!
crab.
Yeah. I know which ones you're talking about.
But it's a fantastical crab. So this one has super beefy legs and kind of has something that looks like a built-in natural saddle on its back.
Ah, yes. I call this one Hector. So, I have to admit, it is illegal to possess this pet in the city of Wool. So, I would take great care in transporting this. Do you have any method of concealing Hector?
Boris, in response, just holds open a pocket.
Little girl, I don't mean to sound condescending, but Hector is a very particular creature, and I think putting him into some sort of deep, dark, extra-dimensional space would be detrimental to his well-being. And while I would only want to part with Hector to someone who knows what to do with him, he is a very fearsome companion, but will be loyal to you if you treat him right.
Boris just looks for a moment, waiting for just more instruction on what taking care of this creature is going to entail.
or
Uh-huh.
anyone to stop you from possibly
Yeah.
buying this dangerous and an illegal pet.
Yeah.
Jarrell?
15-foot crab.
Jarrell? Paige and Jarrell?
Sorry, I missed that.
Oh my goodness. Boris is about to like buy an illegal pet that she's going to try to ride around and freak people out with. It's essentially this gigantic, beefy Japanese spider crab that like is named Hector.
I mean,
Also, are you of legal age to purchase this pet?
Of course. Hang on, let me find you my ID. And Boris pulls out another gold ingot.
Well, I do love money. These animals and these creatures, every single one of them in this building is important to me in a certain way. I won't just sell to anyone. If you plan to abuse any of these creatures, you can go ahead and walk out the door right now.
Never. I love Hector.
it sounds like you're going to get Hector in trouble and potentially even taken.
Oh, I don't want him taken.
Well, then you can't ride it through the town.
I can arrange for delivery outside the city limits if, it seems like what you are offering is more than enough. We'll just have to arrange a pickup at a time where the watch is less watchful. There happens to be a fantastic celestial event happening tonight that we could, do this under the cover of.
Yeah, you know what? I will be back here for Hector at 4:30 in the morning.
Well, we can't do it here. I know. This exchange will not happen in this shop.
I will be wherever you need me at 4:30 in the morning.
If 4:30, I think I can arrange that. Okay. You're going to take Immortan Way out to the Western Gate. 20 paces west, 10 paces north. There will be a secure container with a code lock. You will enter the code 8865, and Hector will be waiting for you. We never had this conversation, and Hector does not exist. Is that clear?
Of course not. I don't
You
know
have
what you're
yourself a
talking
deal,
about.
You have yourself a deal, young lady. Hector, and he taps the glass enclosure with this wonderful little environment that's been set up for him in there. You're going to a new home, my friend. Godspeed. And safe travels. You see a single tear shed.
Boris gives the shopkeeper a muffin and says, "Thank you."
Oh, how delightful. You are so welcome. Is there anyone else I may be able to assist on this fine day?
Pregnant, I believe it's time to go. We should try to go find this other gentleman who might know where your hamster is.
What? Oh. Okay. Sorry, I zoned out there for a second.
You hear by the time as soon as Pregnart's attention breaks, all of the frogs start singing. So there's also this cacophony of noise from the amphibian section.
They start singing.
It was completely silent.
Like frog song. Yeah, actually, but but they're croaking. They're croaking that melody. They're croaking
I
the
was
melody.
thinking
to-
more,
It's not Michigan J Frog. It is not
Right.
Michigan
Hello,
J
my
Frog.
baby. Hello, my darling.
None of that.
No,
Send me
that's
a
played
kiss
out.
while I want.
I want them to be singing
Hey, my heart's
Mr.
on
Frogman,
fire.
sing me a... Bring me a dream.
Frogman, bring me a dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love
About
it.
doing that, we don't necessarily believe this guy about not having the hamster.
And again, you see this shopkeeper just reach for his notebook again. Fascinating. He seems to be able to penetrate the minds of lesser amphibian creatures.
Was I using charisma doing that somehow?
I have no
Probably.
idea, man. Probably. In some way, yes. In some way, yes. But I'm not even going to make you roll for it because, they're little frogs. And you are a very powerful Pregnart.
And magic works different here. Or now.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, if anything, it should be noted, and I think it's worth noting for even the audience, right? Because we had said before that magic had started working a little bit differently ever since Tarantus went missing, right? And obviously after the Fall Upheaval, a lot of magic and stuff got messed up. This is the best you've ever felt casting spells, for those of you who do cast spells. I mean, aside from some of the early hiccups with Jarrell reacclimating to like you're channeling divine power, but yet your god is not a god yet where you are.
Right.
Everyone else has just felt like the magic has been coursing through you, like effortlessly. It's just not even it just works. It just works. Hashtag it just works. Sorry, just channeling my inner Todd Howard. So at this point, you've arranged the deal, right? You know, you've been pointed in the direction of a man named Volo. And, he's leaving town today.
I would hope so. Otherwise, we've just invalidated a lot of D&D lore.
Well, listen, this is not... None of this is Forgotten Realms canon. But there are certain characters that are ubiquitous throughout the multiverse of the Forgotten Realms and the D&D world that I feel like deserve... Like, we have Melf. Melf is part of the project, right? Like, it's a tip of the hat. It's a little nod to the origins of D&D. And all the fantastical and amazing stories that have come out of this amazing game that we play.
Yeah. Just because many of them happen to come from Ed Greenwood's realms doesn't, necessarily mean anything. I mean, at this point, it's harder for realms to keep Elminster out than it is for him to get in.
Yeah, so, it felt important to just, tip of the hat there. And hey, we're looking for exotic creatures. I can think of no better person to ask than a man named Volo. So are we heading to the 7th Ward? Is that the plan now?
Yep, trying to find that hotel that he was staying in.
Okay. You hop on a wagon to the 7th Ward, and as you're arriving, you can see what appears to be... Just give me 1 second. I want to make sure I describe this properly. You see on it's sort of where these, the carriages sort of congregate, right? Where this little depot is, where people are getting on and off, or transitioning or transferring to different, places, right? To go different places in the city. There is a man who's wearing this very large cloth hat that hangs down like the back of his head. It's brimless, right? But it's just this big, this poofy cloth hat. And these very fine clothes. He's got a gigantic book strapped to his back, and he seems to be carrying around a small chest with him. As well as on this wagon, he's got a few different cages with exotic birds in them. And he seems to be furiously writing, and this carriage is heading south to leave town. And that's what we're going to call this episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. So, all of you beautiful people out there in Radio Land, if you like us, you can find us on the internet. Just look on such places as Twitter or Instagram. Look for @HaplessHeroes. We're also on Facebook and Reddit. It's just look for Hapless Heroes Podcast. But really, the crown jewel of our internet presence, where we like to hang out and talk with our audience the most, is our Discord server. We really encourage you to check out, all our socials have links to our Discord, or, you'll see it in the show notes of every episode. We encourage you to join this community. It's burgeoning with new listeners and vets alike, people just starting their Hapless Heroes journey, which we spoiler tag all of our discussions to make sure that it's still a spoiler-free experience for you as much as we can help it. We do moderate that. Our wonderful community moderators have been a huge help in making sure that... Monitorators, yes. You wonderful, wonderful folks. But we encourage you to join this community. It's
Thanks for inventing that word, Fran.
You're welcome, Zach. I'm a real wordsmith over here, as you can tell. But yeah, we encourage you to join the community. It's just a whole bunch of like-minded, awesome folks, and yeah, it's super cool. But if you really like us, we'd love it if you left us a 5-star review or rating on the podcast service of your choice. Those help us just get more exposure, get more people listening to this awesome show. By the time this episode airs, too, we will have crossed the 200,000 download mark, and I am just over the moon with all of the love and support and all we've received from all of you, and the fact that so many of you have chosen to listen to this podcast really just blows me away. It just warms my heart. It makes me feel good, and we love you all for it. But another thing that we do, because when you say some nice things to us, is that we'll actually say some nice things right back to you on the air if we see you leave us a review. This one actually comes from the 5-star channel in our Discord. It's Sean Dewar says, after listening to 225 episodes, you guys keep me laughing all night as I work. So far, I haven't decided if Boris or Hoblet is my spirit animal yet. Keep up the great entertainment. I played a dwarf in my last one-shot, and in Hoblet fashion, I golf swing for a crotch shot finish with my Warhammer. Hoblet would be proud. Thank you, Sean Dewar. You are awesome. You are a 5-star human. We hope you're still enjoying the show. You rock. Now, if you really, really, really like us, you could donate to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/haplessheroes. All the money you donate goes right back into making this show what it is, pays our hosting costs, helps us replace equipment, and just keep up with all the maintenance that's involved with putting on a production such as this amateur thing that we've been doing for the last 6 years. We have a bunch of different rewards in there. We encourage you to peruse them. We're going to be doing some updating to that also over time, as obviously this campaign is kind of moving towards its conclusion, and we're going to be moving into other ventures, still maintaining the Hapless Hero stuff. So things like submitting story arcs to the show and whatnot. If we can't get to them now, we're going to bank those and put them in for whatever the next thing happens, and we'll find a way to apply them. So, if you're hesitant or anything like that, this is something we plan to keep doing for a very long time, or at least I'm going to keep doing it for a very long time. So yeah, it's patreon.com/haplessheroes. Thank you to all of you who've been donating to us. You all are amazing, and we hope to see more of you.
And if you like us right now, you like us, Sally Field, and the whole deal. Open up a marble factory, and in every 1,000th marble, put a small scroll that when it clacks, that marble clacks into another marble. It breaks open and reveals a scroll that says, I want a donut, and please feed me one, me being the marble, and also listen to Hapless Heroes podcast, an original D&D campaign. Is that the name of our podcast?
It is.
Probably.
It is the name
How
of our
do those
podcast.
vowels work? I don't know how vowels work anymore. Goodbye.
Well, I guess there's nothing left for me to do besides outro my lovely cast for you. Starting on my virtual right, we have Lord Jarrell the Light.
Until next time. Normally say played by after. I was waiting for that portion of it.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah, but I like the way that I can rhyme John. It's, to my virtual right we have John playing Lord Jarrell the Light. It just works, and I just can't stop doing that now. Anyways, to his virtual right we have Zach as Pregnart.
It's me. Goodbye.
Nicole as Boris the Butcher.
Need some crab food if the world doesn't end.
Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
I truly forgot how refreshing cucumbers can be.
And Dave is Zero, Valen's Avatar 4.
I did tell the man that he wouldn't know my friend even if he were standing right in front of him.
And I've been Francesco. I've been your host and DM, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
Goodbye. Bye.